Okay, so here we are, Thames and Jollof on the very first episode, the official episode. Okay, so this is it. If you remember a time, I don't know how long you spent in UK, but I think I've spent around 3 years now. I remember a time where I had to chase a bus. I can never forget the number of that bus, bus 82 in Liverpool.
The bus going to speak.
I had to chase that bus because I was going for my very first interview. No, I was looking for my very first job in the United Kingdom. Okay. So I was going for an interview. I had missed one interview. And where is this interview? It's a warehouse interview. So I had missed one that morning. Then I had another one. So I was running so that I won't miss that one. I wanted to use bus 82. I was so confused about where to stand. So I saw one particular bus 82 and I ran after that bus 82. So much that my toes were bleeding and I was like, oh, what is this? So, experiences like that makes you want to think about how it is when you just got into this country. And that's one thing I actually want us to reflect on today on this podcast. Riders and shine, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first official episode of this podcast. And the title of this podcast is Thames and Jollof. It actually sounds a little funny, correlating Jollof and Thames together. But if you look at it, it's deeper than you think.
Absolutely.
So my name is The Big Dot. I'm a Nigerian living in the United Kingdom. And I have here my friend who is also going to introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Moses Olukayode Ogunjobi, and also a Nigerian living in the UK. Trying as much as possible to do well for himself as well.
Okay, so now, do you remember that part where you just came into the UK? Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Do you remember one of those?
All those memories are still quite fresh.
Okay, even after you've settled and you've spent a few years and you're literally enjoying yourself in the UK, you still remember those experiences?
Yeah, absolutely, because there are times when you feel very nostalgic about your experiences prior before the whole thing gets into, to be all right. You understand? So it's kind of a feeling that wouldn't leave you. It's just like a rough patch that you pass through before, trying as much as possible to settle. Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, for me now, I used to tell if I see anyone coming into the United Kingdom freshly, especially from Nigeria, I tell them, no matter what you're passing through, allow the first 100 days to pass. Like, do you still recollect any of those memories?
Yeah.
Like, how was your first 100 days as an immigrant in this country? Was it rough? Was it sweet? Was it sour?
Well, my first 100 days, it was a mixture of bittersweet, but it was more of sour. if I can put it that way, because there are quite a number of things that was really challenging back then that I was trying as much as possible to reckon with, especially the fact that, coming into the UK, trying as much as possible to settle into a new environment.
Trying new habitat.
New habitat, working with people of diverse cultures, diverse differences, amongst each other. So it's quite a number of things settling in. So because one of the things that I could also remember was the fact that the amount, bringing into the country wasn't really something that could help you to settle in properly.
But what were you thinking?
Well, what I was thinking back then was that it wasn't even what I was thinking, because it was what was at my disposal. If you get what I mean. The amount, you spent everything.
Okay, maybe for the sake of confidentiality, maybe we shouldn't mention that particular amount. But I knew earlier we discussed a particular amount that we came into the country with. And the amount I came into the country with was not so much different from what you came into the country with. Okay, but talking about that first money, that money you bring into this country, like as an immigrant, that very budget,
minute,
that little amount of money you came into this country with. Over time, I used to reflect on the fact that I used to feel like when I came to this country, I didn't really understand how valuable pounds can be.
Because
each time I feel like how I spend this money, I wish I felt like I just spent that money. Because I had not started working, and maybe because, for example, now as a new immigrant in the United Kingdom, you see places like Asda, you see places like you see those big supermarkets, and see some of those stuffs that used to appear like luxury to you, and you see them for like £1, £2 in those stores. And before you know, and because you're fresh in the country, you are still jobless.
Start buying.
Somebody like me, somebody somewhere is housing you and cooking you rice and chicken every day. So you just enter the store and start buying. So later on, I'm like, man, that particular money. Like I feel like I still miss that money. Like I owe that particular amount of money an apology, because if I had that money in my pocket right now, I've spent way more than that. But just looking at that particular amount, if I had that money with me right now, I know I won't spend it the way I spent that one.
Yeah, initially.
Was it like that for you?
Well, for me, it wasn't really like that, because it was kind of a bit tough. One, I couldn't get the job I was thinking of, get it on time.
Okay.
So it was something that we need to, to manage with, like the funds disposal back then, I and my partner. So it was kind of very stringent measures that we put in place for us to spend such money, because out of it, you need to get your bus pass. You need to buy bucket, buy, a bit of kitchen utensils.
You're starting life all over again.
And these are stuff that back home, you have them.
You don't even think about them.
Yeah.
There are not things you even think about that you want to do, or things you really think about that you want to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't remember me going out of my house and thinking, I'm just going out now just to go and get myself a bucket or go and get myself, But you just find yourself in that position whereby you're starting all over
again. Absolutely.
And it's somehow, at that point in time, some of those things were strange. Some of them were just like, there's this awkward feeling that comes with like, this is a kind of life that, I thought I'd left
behind
a lot of years ago. Then I find myself in
doing
this
them
new space where I'm doing them all over again. When you were leaving Nigeria to come to UK, was there anything you expected?
Well,
and you got here and you're like, no, it was not meeting your expectation, or maybe there was something. Probably your mentors, everybody has a mentor when they're trying to relocate. People telling you what you expect.
Tell you different
people telling
things,
you, don't worry, don't worry, it's going to be like this when you're here.
Yeah.
And the moment you got in and you're like, all the promises you made, all the things you told me, they're a little bit different. Do you have any experience like that?
Yeah, there are quite a number of experiences like that, especially, in terms of job hunting. It's not the way I envisaged it.
Okay, they told you not to worry that
there are jobs, available. It's just for you to prepare your CV and go for interviews and you get them. They didn't really tell the rigors of it, how you're going to, apply for a certain job, things that you're going to put in place, how, you're going to prepare for certain interviews and all. So it's because I could remember the first job I did in the UK was a colleague who told me that they needed someone who could be taking their children to school.
So that was your first job?
That was like my first job. So I would wake up, and it was very cold during that period. Wake up early in the morning, go there, pick them, £10 in the morning, and go back, take them back home as well, £10.
£10 in the afternoon.
So that was like something I did for like 2 months straight. So every week I was earning like £100. So it was out of the £100.
But what was your expectation? How much did you think you were going to hand when you were coming from Nigeria? Did you have a calculation?
Yeah.
Because for somebody like me, I had a calculation.
Yeah.
I was like, the moment I get to UK, they told me UK is paying like, I think at that point in time, maybe £10.50.
Yeah, £10.50.
So I already calculated it
minimum
so
wage.
I feel like every day I should be getting like £100. Then every week, then I should be having like £500 every week. I made that calculation. I believed in that calculation so much that I told my brother, whom I borrowed some money from, like, don't worry, In 2 weeks, I'll send you 500K.
500.
So how do you now feel now when you were doing like £100 every week?
You know, it's just something that completely overwhelmed me, because the way you mentioned that you had already calculated.
I had that calculation.
That was how I also like calculated.
Yeah.
Take for instance, I earn in a month, let's say £3,000.
Yeah, no.
And back in Nigeria, if you are doing such calculations, you forget about
You forget about tax. No. You don't even talk about tax. You don't talk about that. But that money, you are converting it to naira immediately. Like, so don't worry. So how much am I owing you? I'm owing you 2 million naira. Don't worry. When I get to UK, I'll send you the money. Like, they already told me. Immediately I get in, I'll start working.
Yeah.
Then I work every week. And probably I'll sort all of you out.
It was like almost the same thing with me, because I also had few money that I borrowed from someone very close to me, and before I could pay that, although I paid on time, but
I think almost everybody had a credit.
Yeah, so
at the point you are leaving.
Yeah, because it's a lot of money to relocate down here. It's a lot of money. It's not as if you just come here with maybe, let's say, £500. You spend more than that, the visas and everything. So, but these are things that that makes us as humans, and part of what builds us into what we are personally today. So it's just part of the experiences that we face with other experiences that we must have passed through. So, and some of the things that also was new to me when I came into the UK was the greetings and the way they exchanged.
Culture shock.
Yeah, the culture shock.
I think I had a lot of culture shock. I had a lot of culture shock. And I think if we're talking about culture shock, it's in phases.
Absolutely.
And even after 3 years, you still get some culture shock.
It's every day something, because you tend to meet new people, tend to meet people from diverse cultures and everything. So, because one of the things that I had to unlearn and relearn certain things, especially in terms of exchanging pleasantries. Take, for instance, you are driving and someone, stops for you to pass. It's courtesy for you to wave that person. There are a couple of times that I've driven like that and I forget to wave. And the person, once they drive past,
just look at you.
It's not even looking, the kind of words they will say.
In most cases, it's the look. They just look at you like, let's give you a straight face.
Why is this person behaving like a nuisance?
And the fact that I think the way everybody smiles at you, at the first instance, you think
everybody loves you.
You think literally everybody loves you. Yet, don't let's say people don't love you. Literally everybody loves you, but they are not smiling at you to say they love you. It's just the simplest form of courtesy around there. Yeah. If somebody were to be smiling at you in Nigeria, you'd be like, "What's up? What have I dash you money? I dash you money." Even like you ask questions, but here, I think it's just the simplest form of courtesy.
Absolutely.
And that is, everywhere. Even when you're working, you're looking, for example, if you come in and encounter with a stranger, you just look at it. When you guys look at each other, you just
smile.
Just give it smile. But I have an exception to that, because I think that is more pronounced in England, based on my own observation. Because the first time I went to Wales, it was a bit different, maybe because
I think Wales
maybe they have preferences towards that. But I remember the first time I drove to Wales to pick up something, people I encountered there, everybody just look at you straight like, and so okay, but I think culture shock is in phases. Talking about first job, I told myself when I was coming to the UK, like, there's a kind of job I'm not going to do, and I'm only going to do some particular types of job. And I think my first job was in the warehouse, because I felt like Africans, Nigerians were very strong. Like,
we're able to withstand
any pressure and fit perfectly to the warehouse. But believe you me, after 6 weeks, I ran away from the warehouse. And I went to take and I want to take a healthcare role. The same role I said
You wouldn't do.
I wouldn't do. But man, when I got to the warehouse, I realized, like, see, the fact they say Africans are strong, Nigerians we are strong, but that thing making you believe that you have this physical strength more than some other people I think is a myth.
Yeah, it's a myth. I don't really believe about that. I think perseverance is
I was there in the warehouse
Yeah.
almost collapsing on some shift. I see some of your counterparts working and even doing extra hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
While you are still there struggling to meet your own. There's this thing we used to call peak rate in the warehouse that time. The warehouse where I worked, we used to call it peak rate. They monitor your peak rate.
Okay.
Because you're doing picking and packing. So they monitor your peak rates. And if you need to meet at least 85% of your peak rate, if you don't meet up maybe for like 3 weeks or 7 days, they let you go and bring in other guys.
That person,
it's just to pick. So now that peak rate is very important. So while you're still struggling to meet your own peak rate, the people you think you are stronger than are going over the peak rate. And they're even getting extra shift because that warehouse, if you don't meet your peak rate, they won't give you overtime. You won't be entitled to overtime. Wow. So while you are still they told you that you are an African, you are very strong, you can you can do all things. You are just struggling to meet your own peak rate. And those people you think you are stronger than, they are smashing it.
I just feel that as Africans, what you've been doing before coming into the UK,
it tells a lot.
It tells a lot about what you'll be able to do right here. Because if you are not used to such hard work back in Nigeria, and you feel because you're African, and when you get to the UK, there's this blood in you that can know.
Okay, because if you look at almost for like say Nigerians relocating into the United Kingdom, you will see a lot of people came in from the, let's say, corporate space, let's say banking civil service, medical line, a lot of different industries, even people who own businesses, self-employed. People who work for them, who do all the tough works for them,
who do the groundwork for them, and they are just like supervising and overseeing what is being done.
You've never been in a situation where you have to leave a 25 kg load on daily basis. Then you come into the UK believing, oh, I have the strength, as I'm an African, I have the strength, so let me just go into the warehouse and do the shift.
No, it doesn't.
It will eat you differently.
It doesn't work that way, because I've seen instances and I've seen people saying that they enter into the warehouse to do the warehouse job, and during their break time they go and don't come back.
I told you I ran away from the warehouse. So it happened this way. When I joined the warehouse, I worked there for 6 weeks. I do 5 shifts in a week, 8-hour shifts. So by the time you are on, like, say, the 3rd shift, your leg is already gone, because there's this very crazy warehouse safety boots you have to put on. So by the 3rd shift, your leg is already gone. So you struggle through the remaining 2 shifts. So you have 2 days off. Those 2 days off, I can't do any other thing. I sleep throughout so that my legs can regain their strength. So in preparation for the subsequent shift. So in between those 6 weeks, I started looking for care jobs. I said I'll never do care in this country because I cannot say I cannot do care. But man, when I see how difficult the warehouse job was, and the bills I needed to pay and the debt hanging on my neck was staring at me like face to face,
And people back home also, looking up to you as
Nobody's even looking. At that point, I don't even care if anybody's looking up to me. I just want to be able to pay my bills to remain in this country and also pay the debt that is hanging on my neck. So I started looking for a care job. But luckily for me, and I got support. Which is much more, though it's based on preference. Some people still prefer care.
Some prefer
support, but I appreciate the fact that I was able to get support instead of care. Even though all the questions they asked me was about care and everything, I was just saying yes.
Yeah, I think it's a bit interwoven.
Even to the things I never believed I could say yes to. I said yes to them because I needed a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just paid 1 month rent. We just got into a rent contract, and you just paid 1 month, not knowing where the next one will come from. You just need any job to survive. And I needed to leave the warehouse.
Absolutely.
So I took up on the support role. And the moment they called me, I was on my way to the warehouse that day when they called me. It was a Thursday. They called me to resume on a Tuesday. I got to the warehouse. I was still doing the work. Then the moment I just felt like, at that point where you get tired.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have any other alternative, I would have pulled through. That day, I just parked their truck. There's this small truck down which I just parked the truck. I just clocked out. They called me from the warehouse. That, where are you? I told them I'm resigned. I'm not working again.
I think a lot of people can relate to that story.
Later on, I met one Indian guy. We used to work at that same warehouse together. I met the guy in Asda. So the guy was like, bro, you remember me? Warehouse? I said, yeah, I remember you. So you still at the warehouse? I said, no, I'm not at the warehouse again. I'm a senior carer now.
It's insane things that people pass through just to survive. It's just one of those things, though. It's just things that really makes us as
okay. Well, let me ask one question. At what point did it occur to you that you were getting settled?
When would I say that is? I think at the point that I was looking at it that I'm getting settled was the fact that I had already gotten like a full-time job. Then my wife was also able to secure a full-time job as well, and we would be able to pay bills, do other stuff, and still had a bit of money left to save for ourselves. So we looked at it that this place that we're staying, I think it's high time we could move to something much more better, even if it's not bigger, but something more comfortable where you get to use things by yourself.
I get it, because normally at that point when you are feeling like, now this place is small.
Yeah.
I think
definitely
that means you are
you're already things are started.
Because you will not think
about
that in your first or
your
second month.
You wouldn't try that. You wouldn't try that because
you're barely trying to survive.
I stayed in a shared apartment for 11 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I stayed in a shared apartment for 11 months, and it was a good one because people that we stayed together are people that we share the same values and same orientation. Everybody knows that if you use things, you tend to clean them. Yeah. You tend to put everything.
Everyone has a responsibility.
Everybody has a responsibility of
everybody understands that we really don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So we are all managing together. So everybody should just give themselves brain and make this place conducive for everybody.
However, we still have exceptions of people that you as a person, that you are just there for the time being. You're going to move to your own personal space where you can
So at that point when you felt you were settled, you're able to move.
Move to our own personal space, pay rent, stay, and start acquiring other things and be able to do other things. Use your free time to do other things. Then you're already feeling I'm getting a bit settled until the UK send out the white paper.
Leave white paper matter today. We're not going to go to white paper matter today. One thing I just want us to look at as rounding up, because time is of excellence, is that so looking at those early days, let's say the first 100 days that we were talking about, if you had to give somebody who's just coming to the UK a piece of advice now, what would that advice be?
Well, my piece of advice would be that after all the YouTube that you have gone through, how to do this in the UK, how to do that in the UK,
what you need to bring to the UK,
what you need to, how to eat, how to sleep, how to go to the toilet. After you must have done all that, and a lot of things that people must have said to you about the UK, take time to pass through the process yourself and don't rush. Experience will definitely give you an idea, reshape you. It will reconfigure you,
give you a reorientation.
You know, when I start telling you that, maybe take for instance, you are new to the UK, and I start telling you this is how it's been done. This is how you feel. Oh, I'm talking too much.
Right.
But when you see it for yourself,
you will know. Okay, thank you very much. I think it's at this point we'll conclude today's edition. This is our official first episode. So please, if you are watching this, please comment, like, and subscribe and support us. It's Thames and Jollof. My name is Big Dot, and I'm also here with
Moses.
Thank you very much. See you next episode.
See you on the next one.